I thought it was bad enough dealing with large hordes of sleepers, powerful enemies like giants, birthers, tanks. Ugh, don't even get me started on the shadow variants in this game. And yet, 10 Chambers found a new type of enemy to torment us with. Eyes up in the sky, prisoners, because these little buggers are capable of flying. Hello everyone, Professor Scaler here, and welcome to the alternate R6B1 level guide. As always, we're starting with the loadout, and today I recommend you bring with you a bio tracker, a mine deployer, a C-foam launcher, and then any sentry of your choice. And there's not really a whole lot of special reasoning behind this particular loadout. Bio tracker is just to help us gather information and also being able to tag enemies so we can more easily deal with them no matter what type of environment we find ourselves in. Mines and C-foam are going to be the primary means of dealing with every single one of the alarm doors in this level. There will always be at least one door we'll be able to shut, mine, and reinforce with some C-foam, which is quite helpful. And then also when it comes to that sentry, it's just to give you a little bit of extra firepower, because even though mines and C-foam help out tremendously for this level, they're not going to be able to deal with every single one of the enemies for us during these alarms, so having that sentry to just help us out a little bit will make things go by a little bit more smoothly. As I said, this is a fairly easy level, so if you want to swap this loadout around a little bit, maybe replace the C-foam launcher with a second sentry, by all means go on ahead. It's not all that difficult, so you should still be able to find success as long as you're using your tools properly. Dropping down into the level, you'll see that your main objective is to bring the matter wave projector with you all the way to zone 38. And you and your teammates and that matter wave will be starting off inside of zone 31. In here, not really a whole lot to take note of. At the northern end of the zone, you'll be able to find the security door to zone 33, but it is unpowered and requires a power cell to be plugged into the generator right next to the door in order to unlock it. So we're just going to continue making our way to the western side of the zone, where we will eventually find the security door to zone 32. This door is going to have a class 4 diminished alarm tied to it, and as you can see with this map overlay, there's only one possible spawn location for the enemies during this alarm, and a few different doors they could potentially go through. So I recommend that all 5 of the highlighted doors are shut, but the only ones you need to mine are the 2 that lead directly into your room. As for C-foaming, I would recommend just wait a little bit to see which one of the 2 doors they are going to take, and once you know that with the use of the bio tracker, first one with the C-foam launcher, just quickly run over to that door, fully reinforce it, and then either just stay there a little bit and reinforce it a little more once some of the C-foam gets broken off, or just go back to your teammates and help them finish up the scans, and then you should be good. Once you finish this alarm, you can then head inside zone 32. This area is just simply one big room. There will be no regular enemies in here, but there will be a single scout patrolling about in the darkness, so be a little bit cautious of it. And also in here, you'll be able to find that power cell which you need to unlock the security door from earlier. So once you have that power cell in hand, backtrack all the way into zone 31, go to the security door to 33, plug your cell into the generator, and then you can do the full team scan that's tied to the door. In here, you'll be able to find a security door to the western side of the zone, which will take you eventually to zone 38. However, we are not able to go here quite yet, as that security door is locked and requires a color keycard in order to open it up. So go over to the door, leave the matter wave projector there for later, that way you're not carrying it with you everywhere you go, and then you can go up above in the middle of the room and use that terminal to query where that color keycard is, as it's always going to be located either in zone 35 or zone 36. Once you have all this information, you've taken care of everything else inside of zone 33, go to the northern end down below, where you'll be able to find a security door to zone 34, this door just having a checkpoint scan tied to it, and head into there. When it comes to zone 34, there are going to be more enemies to deal with, as well as another scout patrolling about, and there will be a little bit of fog in here, which can hinder your sight slightly, but it's not all that big of a deal. There are a fair amount of fog repellers in this level, so by all means, feel free to grab some and use them whenever you see best fit. As for the rest of the zone, you'll be able to find a security door on the western and the eastern side of it, which will take you to zone 35 and zone 36, but these 2 security doors have class 4 alarms tied to them. So once you clear out everything in the zone and you know which one of the 2 zones you have to go into for that color keycard, you can then start setting up your defenses. As you can see with this map overlay, I've sort of simplified it a little bit because it really doesn't matter which one of the 2 alarms you have to do, the way you're going to set up for it is almost the exact same. There's only one possible spawn location for enemies, which is down south, and there's only one entrance into your room that they could possibly take, as that northern door is something they will never go through. So whichever room you are in, go to the southern door, shut it, mine it, and C-foam it, and then place your sentry on the inside facing towards it, and you should be good. If you want to, you can also reinforce the door a little bit halfway through the alarm just to keep enemies out for even longer. But once everything is good and you have taken care of the alarm, you can pack up your sentry and then head into Zone 35 or Zone 36, where you're dealing with pretty much the same thing as before. More regular enemies, potentially a few giants, there'll be another scout patrolling about, and there's also a fair amount of fog in both of these zones, although once again, it's not really all that big of a deal even if you don't have fog repellers. So make your way through the area, dealing with enemies, grabbing resources. Once you have that key card, you can leave whenever you want to, and then just make your way back into Zone 33. Once you get there, go to the western side to that security door to Zone 37, put the key card into it, and then you'll see that there is a Class 5 diminished alarm tied to the door. And as you can see with this map overlay, there are a few different locations enemies could possibly spawn from. Now, when it comes up to the northern area, there are two different doors you could potentially shut to mine and seafoam, although one of those is more than likely broken down because of the previous alarm, so you're just going to simply shut, mine, seafoam the other door, and then when it comes to the southern door, same thing, shut it, mine it, and seafoam it, and then you can place your sentry either facing up towards the north or down towards the south, somewhere near the door. It doesn't make that much of a difference, but I typically like to place my sentry up towards the northern area as there's two different spawn locations, so there's a greater chance of enemies coming from that direction than from down south. Once everything is set up though, activate the alarm, work on those scans, and once you have finished every single one of them, clear out any of the enemies who are still left alive, pack up your sentry, and then you can go into Zone 37 itself. When it comes to the zone, not a whole lot to it, just a long rectangular room. There'll be a few enemies in here, a few resources to collect, and at the far western end of it, you'll find the security door to Zone 38. This door is just simply going to be a checkpoint scan, and once you finish it, you can go inside, and in the middle of the room, you'll be able to see a little platform where you can insert that matter wave projector. Once you do, the jump gate will be activated and a full team scan will appear in the middle of it. All you have to do is just simply stand in this full team scan until it finishes, and then you'll be teleported out to the desert dimension. Out here, you've got a bit of distance you need to travel, but there's no enemies or resources you have to worry about, so by all means, take all the time you want to take in the view and look around a bit. And once you make your way all the way to the end of the path, you'll be able to find sort of a construction area along with a terminal in the middle of it. Once you go to that terminal, there'll be a special command you have to put into it, and once you put that command into the terminal, your main objective will be completed. However, you are not quite done yet, because shortly after you put that command to the terminal and you do the full team scan that is tied to it, a temporary alarm is going to initiate. There won't be any scans or anything like that you're going to have to do, but a new enemy, or potentially new enemy, depending on how long you've been around in the community, will start spawning in, and that would be the flyers. They're not all that difficult to deal with as they don't do that much damage and they don't have a whole lot of HP, but they are quite mobile and can be a little bit difficult to hit from a distance. So just move around a bit or take cover. You're not going to have to deal with this all that long, because not too long after that alarm initiates, you will be teleported back into Zone 38. And at this point, all you need to do is run back to extraction. And I would emphasize that you run back to extraction, because shortly after you teleport back, those flyers are also going to start teleporting back endlessly. So you're going to want to make your way to the beginning as quickly as you can and get onto that extraction scan, and then hold out against a few waves of flyers. And once you get that scan all the way up to 100%, you will be done and you have completed alternate R6B1. And that's all there is to it. Alternate R6B1 unleashes flyers into the complex, and now we've got yet another thing to worry about killing us during these expeditions. But despite this new threat, we must continue to venture deeper into the abyss and complete the task given to us by the Warden. If we hope to survive to see another day, the only option is to push ahead and deal with whatever gets in our way. As always though, thank you for watching this video all the way to the very end. I do hope that it was able to provide you with some assistance in beating this level. If you have any tips or tricks for this level that you want to share, any questions for me, or you just have something in general that you would like to say, please do let me know down in the comments. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more from me, and if you want to join my lovely community, there's a link to my Discord down in the description, as well as some other links you might be interested in. Among those links being one to the official GTFO merch store, which, as always, I highly recommend you check out if you're a fellow GTFO enthusiast and you're looking to pick up some sweet merch. Until next time, up next we finally have an alternate Rundown 6 level with optional objectives in it, which means things are going to get a little bit more challenging from here on out, and hopefully I'll see all you wonderful people in the next video.